welcome to the course of Chinese culture. In this section, please join us to learn Chinese traditional sports. As we know, China is well known as an ancient country with a civilization several thousand years old. But few people know that sports in China claim a history as long and honorable as the country's civilization. Traditionally, Chinese people regard sport as an essential method for fit keeping, as well as for entertainment, like the dragon boat races during the Dragon Boat Festival, mountain climbing during the Double Ninth Festival, and dragon dance and lion dance during the Spring Festival. People also relate sports to an enhanced insight into life, such as UWI-CH and Chinese chess. As a country with diverse cultural traditions passing down from one generation to another over thousands of years, China has developed a variety of sports, including martial arts, 蹴鞠, archery, tai chi, qigong, etc. Next, let's learn several typical Chinese traditional sports. First, Chinese Kung Fu. Chinese Kung Fu, which is also known as martial arts, is a series of fighting styles which has developed over a long historical period in China. In order to survive in an extremely hostile environment, our primitive Chinese ancestors developed primary means of defense and attack that included leaping, tumbling, and kicking. Although they knew how to fight with rudimentary weapons made from stones and wood, fighting with the bare hand and fists became essential skills. The martial arts we recognize today as Kung Fu has their origins in the Shang and Zhou dynasties. During the falling Qin and Han dynasties, wrestling, sword play, and spear skills became well developed and were popular among civilians and troops. Following the Song dynasty, various schools, boxing styles, movement sets, and weapon skills flourished. Nowadays, it is regarded as a traditional sport, gaining more and more popularity, and even stands as a representative for Chinese culture. Styles including Shaolin, Tai Chi, and Qigong have many followers worldwide. Some Westerners think that all Chinese people are Kung Fu masters. That's not true, but this is traditional heritage has its unique existence in modern times and left much influence on the locals' lifestyle. Although being fighting styles, Kung Fu advocates virtue and peace, not aggression or violence. This has been the common value upheld by martial artists from generation to generation. With a number of movement sets, boxing styles, weapon skills, and some fighting stunts, Kung Fu keeps its original function of self-defense. Now, its value in bodybuilding and fitness is also highly appreciated. Second, 蹴鞠, which is also known as ancient football. 蹴鞠is the oldest football game in the world. According to historical records, it appeared back to the Shang dynasty, and the equipment was a stone ball which was promoted by the army to build up a strong constitution among the soldiers. In the Han dynasty, it became even more popular and was written into military science of the day. There were no less than 25 versions of the game. It is said that the first emperor of this dynasty, Liu Bang, was proud of his father, who was quite good at playing the ancient football, 蹴鞠. In the Southern Song dynasty, the earliest football club or guild was founded and named Yuanshe. At that time, many literary and art works were created on the theme of 蹴鞠, which verified its prosperity. It was fashionable at all levels of society, folk or court, city or frontier defense. It was played by adults and children, and both men and women. Although women in feudal times were of a low status and were precluded from many outside occasions, the playground seemed the exception where they could appear in public. However, it gradually fell into decline, maybe because of its traditional notion of peace and benevolence. Although 蹴鞠 was originally a competitive game, people, especially the ruling classes, sought to change its nature to one for amusement only. Today, this game has been brought into China's national games of minority nationalities, traditional sports. Third, dragon boat races. Dragon boat race is one of the most typical traditions of Chinese Dragon Boat Festival, which falls on the 5th day of the 5th lunar month. The activity is widely held in southern and northeastern areas of China, where rivers and lakes are densely scattered. With a far-reaching history of more than 2,000 years, the observance can be dated back to the boat racing to save the ancient Chinese poet Qu Yuan in Warring States period. Now, it becomes a worldwide popular water sport and a celebrating activity spreading to Southeast Asian countries like Vietnam, Singapore, and Malaysia. Fourth, line dance. Wonderful line dance brings joy to occasions such as the Spring Festival, Latin Festival, wedding celebrations, and opening ceremonies for businesses, and so on, originating in the northern and southern dynasties. The dance became more and more popular during succeeding dynasties. Many famed poets have described the jolly dance scenes in verse. For this dance, there are two types of line, those of the north of the Yangtze River and those of southern China. The northern lines are vivid with golden hair. Dancers will wear clothes to match the line's color. Usually, two dancers cooperate to act as a big line while another acts as a small line. Such lines dance as a pair. Employing a variety of steps, the line dancers will express different emotions such as joy, sadness, anger, affection, or suspicion, and so on. By contrast, most southern lines look quite fierce. In the Huang Feihong Museum for the Art of Line Dance in Guangdong Province, exhibits record about the stance of Huang Feihong, the great master of Wu Shi. Due to time limits, I cannot introduce all the Chinese traditional sports today. If you are interested in it, just explore it. That's the end of this section. Thank you for joining us.